Hi everyone, how you doing? First of all, the hula hooping, I'm impressed because I don't have those skills. So today I'm going to talk about speaking truth to power. And how y'all doing? Okay. So I am a writer and vlogger. I've been blogging for 14 years, back when it was still considered plain on the internet. I started blogging freshman year of college because I was peer pressured into doing it. My friends were like, hey, you should start a weblog. And I was like, all right. So I went on Xanga and started what is... We are all just telling our age right now. Because when I say Xanga in rooms with college students, they're like, Xanga? 14 years ago is when I started this whole thing, this journey of truth-telling that I didn't realize I was on. I just thought I was writing because it was cute and something I love to do. I'm also a digital strategist and trainer. I've been doing that for 8 years. I basically tell people how to use social media for more than loitering. Also, back when I was in college, I was a kid who, I've been on Facebook since July 2004. It started in February 2004. Because shout out to the Big Tens. We were the second rounds allowed to be on Facebook. So one of the things that I was like, okay, this whole sitting on the internet thing has got to be used for more than just like tagging my friends to pictures. And early on, I figured out that I could use it to do something powerful. And then I'm the executive director of a nonprofit called the Red Pump Project, and it raises awareness about the impact of HIV and AIDS on women and girls. It's an 8-year-old nonprofit. But what I'm mostly known for is awesomelylovvie.com, which is my blog where I cover all things pop culture, shenanigans, race, culture, travel, more shenanigans. And this website has basically been a manifesto of my life in terms of who I am. It's shown my growth as a writer, shown my growth as a thinker. But most of the time, I'm giving side-eye to people. So last year when I dropped my first book, I'm Judging You, the Do Better Manual, it was only right because I had spent, at that point, 13 years basically giving side-eye to the entire world. So this collection of essays on life, culture, social media, and fame was right on time. And you know, when it was time to figure out the cover, right, my publishers were like, you should be on the cover of your book. And I was like, no. Because part of telling the truth is, and I told my publishers the truth, and I said, if I'm on the cover of my book as a black woman, people who walk into bookstores are going to project their ideas of what they think this book is about. People who don't look like me might not pick it up because they see my picture on the cover. And I said no. And I was super adamant about it. The first 3 versions of my covers that they sent me had my picture on it, and I was like, absolutely not. So we settled on the Judgy Pop, which is the side-eye and lollipop. And that was important because 1, everybody likes candy. 2, if you see a sweet piece of candy that is giving you side-eye, you will pick it up at the minimum, right? Because you're like, is it judging me? Yes, it is. And the truth that I was telling in this book, I feel like was important, more important than me, in terms of having my face on it. I didn't need to be represented on it. But part of the truth is also understanding that people do judge a book by its cover, literally. And I wanted to do it in a way that it would reach the most people. And when I realized it worked is when somebody messaged me and said, I own a bookstore, and I put your book in the window. And this big, white, tatted up dude walked in and was like, what's this book about? Ends up picking it up, looks at the back, buys 2 copies. Had my picture been on the cover of this book, that might not have happened. But again, I wanted most people to understand that this book, the truth that I was telling in it, I need you to sit with it. Part of my job, being the professional troublemaker, is to tell the hard truths, the things that are really, really hard to spit out your mouth because you're like, okay, what's going to happen when I say it? Because these are the things that other people are thinking but dare not to say. I'm the person who managed to say it. Essentially, I am this cat. Like, I don't know what that black cat did to it, but it is pissed about it. Like, if you could capture me in a picture, this is it. I am this white cat perpetually. But I do it out of love, but it's necessary. Because we find ourselves in the place that happens when we don't tell enough truths. My core values, honesty is really high up there for me. Integrity, justice, but shea butter is at the core of all of it. I really found like ash is my kryptonite, so everything I do is basically based upon this, right? And the whole truth piece is important. It's always been important to me. I was a kid who could not lie that well. Like, you could tell when I'm lying because I look like I'm lying. Like, I'm the person who literally, you're like, hey, your shoes are red, and I was like, no, they're not. You could tell I'm lying. So I was like, you know what? Since I don't know how to lie, I might as well stick on this whole truth thing and make it work for me. And in my writing, I essentially just show all of that. One of the chapters in my book is called Dumbed Down News. When I was writing this book, I wrote my book in 2015. This was actually one of the last chapters I wrote. And in this chapter, I talk about how annoyed I am by the fact that I feel like we don't have discernment anymore. Media literacy is like flushed down a toilet. So I wrote this chapter because I'm the person in Facebook also who's like, I'll see people post like wrong things and I'll be like, this didn't happen. I'm the well actually chick. Actually. Ain't no way you tell people that, right? They'll be like, well, it could be true, but it's not, delete it. So I started seeing more and more of that, and I wrote a piece on my blog that's called like Ways to Stop Spreading Fake News. And then this foolishness happened. Like, we know with Cheeto Satan as our president, and now we're finding out it's because a lot of people actually were taking on this thing and accepting it as fact. So I've made it part of my life's mission to debunk some of these things that are happening, right? And I feel like now more than ever, we need to figure out what the truth is, whatever that is. So, one way to do it, read beyond the headline. We see somebody post something on Facebook, before we even read it, we already formed the opinion about it. And then you're like, I could tell who didn't read it, because they're arguing things that are not even in the piece. So I always let people know, I need you to read beyond the headlines. Google is not ever on vacation. Use it. It is free 99. People, I'm like, why do people think Google is busy? It is here to help us out, okay? Use it freely, liberally. There is also this website called Let Me Google That For You. So a lot of times when people ask a stupid question, I will drop the link. Let me Google that for you. It helps. There are way too many things that I read that makes me do this, where I'm just like, seriously, you just think that's true? Like, no, he was not trying to buy NBC, so there's no conspiracy to bring him down. Like, that didn't happen. And when, again, go on Snopes, Snopes.com, will debunk a lot of things for you. Easy peasy. Satirical websites. That's another thing that happened, right? People now think satire just means tell a lie. That's not how that works. Like, at all. Satire is supposed to like basically turn the world on its head, not just you being like, well, that could have happened because I said it was true. No. Literally, there are times when I have to like log off the internet because I'm just like, why are people like majoring in stupidity? Which is why I'm the well actually person way too many times. But right now, I think we find ourselves in a place where we got to, because not enough of us tell the truth. The really hard truth. And it's not just doing it on Facebook when your person who you haven't seen since high school drops a link. I'm talking about in the rooms when we're at dinner, we're in meetings, we are standing next to somebody and they say something that is wrong. A lot of times we roll our eyes and say, oh, or we walk away. That's not good enough. Because our very presence in these moments where things are happening that's not true. Things are being said about people who don't look like us, who don't believe what we do, and we just roll our eyes. We're giving it air and space to thrive. And we tend to feel better because we're like, well, we didn't make the bad joke. We weren't the ones who did something that was wrong. But when you are in the space to actively combat that and you don't, you are actually giving it air to breathe. So we can be on Facebook all day being well actually, but what happens when we're in the rooms when somebody's making a racist joke? When our mom's making a racist joke, when our uncle says that one thing that's homophobic, when somebody says something that's transphobic, and we're just like, well, I didn't say anything, I didn't laugh either. No, not good enough. In these moments is when we need to tell the truth. In these moments is when we need to be like, no, that's not okay. And not enough of us do that. And a lot of people found that out on November 8th, 2016. When people were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my spouse did this. Y'all haven't talked before then? Like, how is this a surprise to you? This person had to have believed something that made them act in a certain way. So I'm just challenging us to tell the truths in our lives, at work. You know when you're in a meeting and somebody says a really stupid idea? And everybody's like, okay. And all of you are thinking that is dumb. We should not do that. But nobody wants to be the one to say something because you're like, you know what, I can't. But then if that one person who's finally like, I can't even take it no more, that is stupid, we're not doing that. Finally, 3 people are like, I agree, that was just dumb. Sometimes you have to be the domino. You have to be the one person who's like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna step outside the comfort and I'm gonna tell them, that's ridiculous. Because then it inspires the other people, the peanut gallery, to speak up. Sometimes you gotta be the one who like inspires the peanut gallery. Don't always be the member of the peanut gallery. And some of us are in rooms where we have more power than we realize. It's especially in those rooms where you have to speak up, where you're not gonna lose that much. If you're the person who says, that's goofy, no, let's not do that. It's a simple matter of just telling the truth. It changes things. Like when somebody tags you on Facebook to an event that you ain't got nothing to do with, because they want you to like help them market it. So I've made it a point now to tell people the truth on that too. Can you not tag me to that, please? I don't like it. Do they stop? Absolutely. As opposed to me rolling my eyes every time, just going, why are they doing it again? Because I never told them the truth, that I don't like it. It is that simple. I think we would be a lot better off if more of us told the truth. I think we would be in a better place. We wouldn't be dealing with Mango Mussolini if that was the case. So one of my favorite quotes now is from Woke Bae, Jesse Williams. How you doing? Now freedom is always coming in the hereafter, but you know what though? The hereafter is a hustle. And the hereafter will continue to be a hustle if we keep just being quiet or not speaking up in the times when it matters. And that is my challenge to everybody, is speak up even when it's hard. Tell the truth even when it makes you shake. Because when your voice is shaking like that is when the truth needs to come out even more. So, thank you.